Welcome to the Ultra World Podcast, the soccer fan's voice from the stands, with your hosts, Marc and Sean Castles, coming to you from Radio Waves Studios in New York City. Now, let's kick off the show.
Well, hi again, everybody. I am indeed Marc with Sean Castles alongside. This is weird that we're doing this again together.
We made it. We made it 2 times in a row. Let's keep the streak going. Marc and Sean actually together and not me solo. Not that I don't mind being solo.
No, listen, and you did a great job carrying the water for us. Thank you very kindly. We left off last week talking World Cup, obviously. What else can you talk about right now? But we were discussing what's next for the American contingent that participated in this 2026 FIFA World Cup. And their tournament wound up ending in bitter disappointment with that round of 16 loss to Belgium in the round of 16, Sean. But at the time we're recording this, we've got a lot, and I mean an awful lot, of the international flavor still very heavily involved. The international star power is very bright.
That's right. As we're recording this, the quarters have been set. Switzerland has just knocked out Colombia, and every team left is amazing. It has stars galore. This is really where the World Cup gets going, where you see the best of the best come out. Brazil got knocked out by Norway. Cabo Verde took Argentina to the limit, and so did Egypt, but Argentina's still in it. Paraguay went from celebrated for their German win to probably the biggest villain of the Cup. After that game against France, like just the shithousery that went on in there, I think for 2 days people were just crapping all over Paraguay's style and kind of rough and tumble play there. But the stars have really come out. The stars of soccer, I want to put it there. Yes, Team USA has good players, but these are the real stars. These are the LeBron James. These are the Tom Bradys. These are the guys that make the big bucks. These are the Maradonas and the Pelés. And they've come out. Mbappe has scored like crazy. Lionel Messi is scoring like crazy. Erling Haaland bringing Norway into the quarters. The Viking. I mean, it's been exciting with these international stars. And so I hope everyone's going to be watching the game this weekend, because I guarantee it's going to be a great game. No matter who is in it, we do not know at this moment, because again, we're only in the quarters. Any of these 8 teams that make the final is going to be a great match.
Yeah, I could not agree more. And obviously, I picked France at the beginning of the tournament. I am sticking with Le Bleu, Blanc et Rouge. And I just think Mbappe, when push comes to shove, is head and shoulders above 98% of the players still remaining in this tournament. And that probably will be enough. You know, they may have top to bottom on that roster the most talented team. They may not be the scoring juggernaut that people would like them to be.
It's pretty close.
But when they need to put the ball in the back of the net, they're able to do it. And I think that given what we've seen from Argentina, the couple of hiccups, including the one in the round of 16, that quite frankly, they probably should have been knocked out by Egypt. I think that as I sit here and look ahead to the final few matches, I think Argentina probably will fall short of reaching the final. I don't think I can see the same thing for France. I think France is going all the way. I'm going to stick to my guns with them.
Is it going to be England that knocks them out? Is it coming home? Or are they going to lose in the finals again in a devastating defeat, the poor English? As you're talking about the French team, I'm going to dive right in here with some of these international stars and what club teams to watch them at, because one of the teams that has the most players on this French squad happens to be in La Liga, which we talked about earlier, island games early in the morning all day, but we didn't talk about Real Madrid because there's no Americans on Real Madrid, which is not a shock. And if you don't know who Real Madrid is, I'm kind of surprised. It's like not knowing who the Yankees are and not knowing who the Patriots are. They're just the team that wins all the time, right? One of the most celebrated teams in soccer, huge budget, huge ego. always coming back, never can count them out, even when they're not playing well.
Yeah, and I mean, you're going to run through the roster here, and not even the whole roster, but star power at the top of the list is just off the charts.
Absolutely. Two interesting things is, one is, and not a single Team Spain player is on Real Madrid. Not a single one. No one from Team Spain is on Real Madrid. And I am kind of shocked by that.
Well, but that tells you how extensive their reach is and how much of a world power Real Madrid is.
Yeah, and I will say, if you want to jump on the Real Madrid bandwagon, you're going to win championships. You're going to watch exciting games. You're going to watch the best. You're going to watch El Clasico, and you're going to watch Champions League finals. You will be called a winner picker. There's no getting around that. It's like picking the Yankees at their height and the Dallas Cowboys of old. But you're going to win. You're going to see them win. I will say, at the end of last season, the 2026 season, they had an internal implosion. Like a little mini civil war broke out, and they fired their coach. They fired two coaches in the season, and they brought in one of the most decorated coaches of all time, Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way to go. When you need stability at the helm, Jose Mourinho is exactly the kind of guy you bring in, because he has dealt with the stars before. He's dealt with the biggest egos in the sport. And I'm not saying that Kylian Mbappe has an ego, but Kylian Mbappe's got an ego, let's face it.
I would too. If I was as good as Kylian Mbappe, I would laugh at Paraguayan players who are trying to kick me too and be like, you can't touch me.
Oh, absolutely. And you've got Vinny Jr. on that squad. You need a guy who's been around, who's won, who has the respect of everybody when he walks into the room. And I think that's what you get when you bring in a guy like Jose Mourinho. You get instant credibility, and you get guys who otherwise, might think I'm too good to listen to whomever the manager/coach is. They're going to listen to what he tells you when he walks into that room. He commands a locker room like very few others.
Absolutely. And the players, well, I'll just list them off here that are on this all-star team. From France, you already mentioned Mbappe. Tchouaméni, also a tremendous player on France. And Ibrahima Konate, all great players. And then you go to Brazil, you got Vinny Jr., you got Endrick, you got Eder Militao. Although Endrick, I believe, was loaned out to Lyon last year, so I don't know if he'll be back. England star, Jude Bellingham, who I really like, and I have nothing bad to say about, but I do hear a little thing of an ego there too. He's certainly, and he has good reason to be.
Absolutely.
He scored, helped them beat Mexico, has been a huge part of this English team. One of the big reasons that Belgium is going as far, their goalkeeper, Thibaut Courtois, put the U.S. to shame. He is one of the top goalkeepers in the world. Morocco, Brahim Diaz is there. And while Germany was out earlier, one of the old stalwarts, Antonio Rudiger, back in those days when Germany was really good and they were usually making the semis and the finals and winning, Rudiger was part of those teams. So truly an all-star team.
Yeah. And a lot of those guys are going to go even deeper into the tournament than I think even the experts expected when the draws came out several months ago.
Absolutely.
So it'll be interesting to see. And, it'll also be interesting to see how, given the lack of off-season now, how are these guys going to respond to the start of their league years? Because the calendar doesn't change, right?
Nope.
Like we've talked about this before. The MLS guys are going back into basically the second half of the season. The European leagues are all going to be kicking off little more than a month from now. And you don't have a lot of rest. And it's going to be very interesting to see how long it takes for some of these top teams whose guys are going into the semifinals and the final of this 2026 World Cup. How long is it going to take for them to get their sea legs back? It's going to be a very interesting challenge. And this is why you need, in a lot of respects, these all-star teams like Real Madrid, like Barcelona, who we're going to talk about next, and Atletico Madrid, and all of these other, again, the superpowers of world football. They're going to be tested. They are definitely going to be tested.
They play 2 seasons. They not only play in La Liga and then also their cup in Spain. But they are in the Champions League.
Yep.
And they expect to win or at least go very far. And that's a whole season itself. So it's 2 seasons. So that bench is deep. And I'm pretty sure that like almost every player on Real Madrid and Barcelona were in some way involved in the World Cup.
It seems like it. It certainly seems like it. And if they weren't, then what's wrong with them?
That's right. Why are you on one of these top teams? You mentioned Barcelona. We'll go to the Barcelona boys here. A lot of Team Spain on there. Lamine Yamal, Pedri, Gavi, Johan Garcia, Eric Garcia, Cubarsi, Dani Olmo, Ferran Torres, like a lot of Team Spain. I always love names like Pedri and Gavi and Rodri. Just those one names with an I at the end. Roll off the tongue there. You know, you got 2 Englishmen. You got Anthony Gordon, and Marcus Rashford was on the team last year, but I don't know if he's going to be back. Brazil's got Rafinha, Frankie de Jong from the Netherlands, also one that was a shocking knockout, but Morocco's really good. Ronald Arroyo, even if Uruguay had a really disappointing World Cup, he's very good. João Cancelo on Portugal. Jules Koundé had a big match for France against Paraguay, was really good. That's a fantastic team. And they're the second. they're the team thought of second in La Liga. That's how it's very concentrated toward the top there. But they play a fun style. Like, if you want to get into La Liga, you're going to want to watch these Real Madrid-Barcelona matches. They are some of the greatest games that have been played in history. Every year, it always delivers. It is an exciting game and something that you should circle on your calendar to watch. Before I move on to the PSG juggernaut, I got to give Atletico Madrid a little bit of love here because they're kind of the also-ran, but they're always really good. Smaller budget. The stepbrother of Real Madrid. But I love their coach, Diego Simeone, an all-timer of a coach. They're always in it. They got a few players from Spain. Alex Baena, who had a really good series. Lorente, Pubil, and Grimaldo, didn't really see much of them. A Norwegian, Alexander Sorloth. And a lot of Argentines on their team. A lot of Team Argentina. Nico Gonzalez, Julian Alvarez, who may not be there anymore. Almada, Giuliano Simeone. That's an amazing team, too. I think they came to the Club World Cup last year and showed up pretty well.
Well, they are, undoubtedly next tier down from the 2 transcendent squads, but still dangerous.
Dangerous.
On any given match day. Absolutely.
They lost to Real Sociedad in the Copa del Rey finals this past year. Made it pretty far in the Champions League. If you want to root for kind of the underdog without it being the underdog, if you want to be the Cleveland Guardians, I was going to call them the Cleveland Indians, just a team that's always in the playoffs, but only occasionally makes it to the top. Atletico Madrid's a solid team to choose after. I like their jerseys, too. They got a great jersey.
Yeah, they're like the Tampa Bay Rays.
Exactly. Now we got another juggernaut here, which, of course, it's hard to watch unless you have Champions League on Paramount. The PSG juggernaut. Ligue 1. It's hard not to know who Paris Saint-Germain is. The team out of Paris, even if it's a little sports washed. I will also like to point out that when PSG wins, they like to tear Paris apart. When they win championships, they like to dance on cars. It's like a college team winning a football championship where the entire town goes crazy and there's looting. They have a ton of team players on Team France. You got Bradley Barcola, Dembele, Desiree Doué. Like, just those 3 alone are top. Dembele just won the Golden Boot last year, the year before. Barcola is fantastic. Barcola's been great. They got 4 fantastic Portugal players. They got Gonçalo Ramos. They got Nuno Mendes, who unfortunately got hurt. João Neves and Vitinha. Brazil, they got Marquinhos. They got Pacho from Ecuador. Morocco's big star, Achraf Hakimi, is on PSG. Big player for them. And while there's some nasty stuff kind of following him around right now, I don't really want to go into that. If you have a morality clause in what team you pick, you should probably look that up before you... Yeah, exactly. I mean, Fabian Ruiz in Spain, there are players that didn't make the World Cup on their team. Kvaratskhelia is one of my favorite players. Like, they are just stacked, and they just took down Arsenal to win their second in a row. Funny enough that they never won it when they had Mbappe. They got rid of Mbappe and they won 2 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
You want to root for a team that's on the rise? PSG might be your team.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's Paris.
It's Paris. Who doesn't want to go to Paris? You want to make your wife happy and see a soccer game at the same time. No one's saying no to going to Paris.
That's it. Send her on the Champs-Élysées to do some shopping, and you go hang out at the stadium and watch.
At Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah.
Get yourself a jersey and a scarf. Say, hey, honey, I didn't get you a ring, but I got you a scarf.
Speaking of which, good time to remind everybody, we will have scarves coming soon. Ultra World Podcast swag is on its way.
That's right. We're excited about that. And when it hits, you guys are going to be getting to know. I'll switch over to here to Serie A again. I won't go into my long rant again about how I love the Italian teams because there were a lot of players in the Italian leagues. There were a ton of teams that were represented from Serie A in the World Cup, despite no Team Italy. The top of the league, you got Inter, which has Lautaro Martinez from Argentina, Thuram from France, Sucic, who had a great cup for Croatia, Turkey's top guy, I can never pronounce his name, Kalinoglu, Akanji from Swiss, also in the quarters, Denzel Dumfries, one of the best players on Netherlands, Boni from Ivory Coast, and you'll get to learn words like Scudetto and Coppa d'Italia. I love that the title is not just, hey, they won a piece of hardware championship. I love saying the word Scudetto. It sounds like an Italian dessert.
I was just about to say, it sounds like exactly what I want to have when I get home with my espresso.
With your sfogliata with its ice cream in it. And then Maradona's team, Napoli. They've got a couple of Belgians on their team, so, maybe you don't want to root for that, De Bruyne and Lukaku. But if you like Scotland and you want to have an Italian team that has taken on the love of Scotland, I'm going to tell you, Napoli loves Scott McTominay. They also love Gilmore, who unfortunately didn't play for Scotland because he was hurt. They are wearing kilts in their stands. They have gone all in on the Scottish. The Scottish people travel to the south of Italy. Who doesn't want to travel to the south of Italy? I want to travel to the south of Italy. Napoli is beautiful. Go watch a game.
I want to go right now.
Exactly. We're buying tickets. That's where we're going next. I mean, and Napoli has a tremendous history. I've said before, I'd mentioned Maradona before. He is the heart of Napoli there from back when he played. If Scottish and these players like McTominay get you excited, be a Napoli fan because wonderful place to visit. You got Roma. Roma's got a few players in here. It's hard not to root for a team from the Eternal City. I know you'd like to go visit Rome. Rome's one of my favorite cities.
I have not been in way too long.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean,
the Colosseum was brand new the last time I was there. That's how long it's been.
Julius Caesar had not yet been assassinated.
Oh, man.
They got Malin from Netherlands. They've got El Ayouni from Morocco, Kone on France, Wesley from Brazil. It's hard not to root for the Eternal City. They don't have big bucks, but they got big heart. They've experienced a lot of turnover recently, but they recently remade the Champions League. So they're going to be in the Champions League thanks to Malin from the Netherlands. He came in there and really tore it up at the end of the season. I have a special place in my heart for Roma too, just because I love Rome. If you want to go up and coming team, if you want to be like, hey, I knew about this team before anyone else did, and I want to go visit George Clooney, root for Como.
Yeah, that's not jumping on the bandwagon. That's driving the bandwagon.
That's driving the bandwagon. And they only have 3 players on their team. They have a lot of really young talent. That's really exciting. He didn't play very much. Nico Paz is on Argentina, and he only saw a little bit of time. But he's their young, 17, 18-year-old star who's really exciting. Baturina from Croatia, who scored a couple of their goals. João on Senegal. They have a really young, exciting team that took a shocker and took that Final Four spot away from AC Milan. We were just talking in the last episode about AC Milan didn't show up because of Como. You know what? I like to think of them as that OKC team when Durant, Harden, and Westbrook were all rookies.
Okay.
Before they got blown up. They're good now, but I just remember that team where everyone's like, who are these 3 kids? Mm-hmm. And they took the Heatles to, did it go to 6 or did it go to 7?
I don't remember.
But I like to think it was that. So if you want to go old school NBA and be like, I really like those OKC teams from back in the day, Como's your team.
Yeah, interesting. Wait, can I go back and beat up on Pulisic again?
Oh, yeah.
No. I think he's probably had enough. The referee has stopped the contest. It's a TKO.
He's down.
It's such a shame the way things played out for Team USA. They really, they built up all that goodwill and I know we mentioned this last episode, but it's still stuck in my craw, Sean, that the way the whole faux Balogun thing went down, it did not have to be. Chris played. I'm pretty sure he was, dealing with that calf injury more than he let on. And, so he was compromised. They had the distraction going into the Belgium game. And then they honestly, and again, I'm repeating myself from last week, but they were boys against men against the Belgians, and they got their doors blown off, and it didn't have to be. And I'm still angry that Matt Turner didn't get enough run in goal, because we saw from Matt Freese is just, I don't even have the words to describe how I felt about that third goal when he gave it up the way he did, and just
embarrassed.
It was like the Bad News Bears is what.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of our audience isn't baseball fans, but look up the Bad News Bears from 1976.
A classic.
And just watch to see total ineptitude. And that is kind of what Matt Freese looked like Miguel.
Yep.
From the Bad News Bears. And Miguel got better. Hopefully Matt Freese can overcome this. Listen, he's won a championship with NYCFC, so terrific for him. But it's still, all these days later, has left a very bad taste in my mouth the way they lost that game.
And it will probably continue. And that's a reason itself to not root for AC Milan and be like, I'm choosing Inter or one of the other teams so you can root against them and let your ire out on poor Christian. But we digress here. We go on to the Bundesliga here with the juggernaut Bayern München. Because if you are a Harry Kane fan, or you like Michael Olise on France, who have had tremendous cups, you're going to like Bayern. Because Bayern is the juggernaut. They had a near miss in this past semis of the Champions League. They are always in the mix. They are always at the top of the Bundesliga. They are synonymous with German excellence. They're high-scoring, beautiful football. If you go back and watch the semis of the Champions League, that PSG versus Bayern game was one of the greatest games. I think there were 9 goals scored, and yet the defense was tremendous. It was one of the best games I'd ever seen.
And Sean, I just want to interject here about Pulisic, if I may. And I don't know that he wasn't playing compromised the entire tournament, even though he didn't miss a lot of time. I don't know that the calf wasn't a problem the entire tournament. So maybe Team USA would have been better off sitting him more. Maybe Team USA, especially against Belgium in that disastrous round of 16, wouldn't have been better off keeping faux Balogun on the sideline. I don't even want to talk anymore about the whole red card fiasco. But I can't get out of my head, and I know we're getting off the topic here, I just can't get out of my head the just complete Merkel's boner. Look it up from the 20s World Series. Merkel's boner pulled off by Matt Freese on that third goal the Belgians scored. I can't shake it. Is there something wrong with me?
No, that's a Bill Buckner-esque highlight embarrassing.
But at least that was a tie game. When Bill Buckner had his issue, it was a tie game. It wasn't game 7. This was the backbreaker.
They looked like they gave up. It was the backbreaker, but it was the backbreaker. Like, they were still kind of in it. And then the wheels came completely off. And the Lukaku goal in the stoppage was just piling on. It was just like...
Yeah, and I'm really mad that Matt Turner didn't get a lot of run. He deserved to play more than one game.
He did. And I feel like they were equal, and I don't understand why he only got the Turkey game. We'll see if Pochettino comes back, because he may be like, hey, listen, I want to go back to Tottenham or the European leagues. I've had enough of Team USA. I will say one thing that might get me in hot water, but there is something to be said about, is there an issue with the structure of USA Soccer. There was a comment that we didn't use that Erwin Saunier, if you remember, I interviewed Erwin and Christian Adetori, talked about how in America, it is about you have to have money to play soccer now. That it's the richest families get to put their kids out there. They get to put them in the top leagues. They get to put them, they spend 10,000. Private equity is coming into youth sports, and that's bad. Because the Maradonas, the Peles, the truly great players, a lot of great players come from nothing. And the whole point is it's just a ball and it could be anything that is the goal. And yet it's being shut down like it's golf or skiing.
Yep.
And left to money. And so I kind of feel like that's the problem in the U.S. and why it's not moving forward, because there are, I guarantee, a lot of young, talented kids who are like, I'm going to play American football because you know what? Someone's going to give me a scholarship, or I'm going to play basketball because I can play that everywhere here. And no one's picking up soccer because I don't want to say only the rich kids get to play, but it feels like that. So that might be the issue.
Yeah, and the irony is, soccer is still the number one youth participation sport in this country. But as they get older, kids don't want to play soccer. And I think a lot of it has to do with their lack of an attention span and why they, some would think it's a boring game. I think there's probably somewhere out there is a Venn diagram of people who love to play chess and who loves soccer, and it's probably a perfect circle.
Yeah.
If it's not, it should be. But I don't know. I don't know how you fix that.
I'll throw one thing out here.
And I don't know what you do to, if Pochettino doesn't come back, I don't know what you do. Granted, I'd go for another Italian guy, an American Italian. Matarazzo would be my pick.
Oh.
I don't know if he wants the job.
Why would he leave Real Sociedad where they love him, though? Like, that's the thing is.
Well, but do you have to leave, or can you, that's the thing. How much of a commitment is it?
It's a 2-year commitment. It's a pretty good commitment. But speaking to what you were talking about, now I'm old, and when I played soccer as a kid, it was a long time ago. But I remember in Ridgefield, Connecticut, when I was young and played, they had already picked all the All-Stars by the time I was in 3rd grade. All the players that were going to be moving on were already chosen. So why would I keep playing soccer? I played football. I swam. And I'm glad I swam. I got into Duke. I was an All-American, but it was already decided. So not corrupt, but you can't just pick the kids right away because they're from this family or that family and they got money.
Yeah.
You got to let the talent. I talked about Chris Richards. Wasn't sure he wanted to play. Decided in his teens, hey, I'm going to go after this. That's the kind of stuff you need to try and track down. Those Chris Richards out there, the kids who want to just play after school. They're out playing basketball instead in the backyard instead of soccer.
By the way, I want to throw one more name in the hat.
Go for it.
You ready?
Yep.
And he loves New York. He loves the United States. I don't know in a million years that they could afford him, but you've got to make the phone call. Even if he laughs in your face and hangs up, you got to call Pep.
Ooh, that's a great one.
You got to call Pep.
Oh, man. We would be very good if we got Pep.
First of all, can you imagine the sponsorship opportunities if he does take the job and you have Pep Boys?
You would have half of Man City going, listen, I want to play for America. That's really how you do it. I mean, Erling Haaland said he'd follow him everywhere. You want to get Erling Haaland on Team USA?
How can we do that?
You get Pep.
How can we do that?
We need one of the billionaires. We need one of the. Is there a tech elite who's willing to spend several $100 million to bring Pep over?
How do we get Haaland here though with him?
They'd always find a way. I mean, I don't think Balogun had anything really to do with the U.S.
Well, no, Balogun was born in Brooklyn.
Oh, he was? Okay, I knew that his family.
Oh no, he was born in. That's the whole. So the irony of all that nonsense that went on with getting the red card suspension suspended. There's a certain segment of the population who, if they knew he was an anchor baby, they would have been up in arms about why is he even on the team.
That's true.
So, yeah.
Last time we talked about the Bundesliga and the fun names and the Americans on there, but really the star and the juggernaut of the Bundesliga is Bayern Munich, right? You talked about wanting to do something on them before, and we have to at some point.
Yeah.
But they are the quintessential German team. They're super spenders, and yet somehow not seen as like a top spender. They're always in the mix in the Champions League. They're always winning the Bundesliga. They're a high-scoring team that goes full throttle. They always have great games. They just barely lost to the eventual champions, PSG, in one of the most exciting semifinals ever. I think one of the games scored 9 goals.
Yeah.
And they got stars like Harry. You like Harry Kane? This is your team.
Yep.
If you like Michael Olise, who's had a great cup, you're going to want to watch Bayern. Luis Diaz on Colombia, Jamal Musiala, who's just coming back and is a very exciting player. Ito on Japan. You like Senegal? Nicholas Jackson over there. Like a really, truly amazing team. And you know what? While everyone's jumping on Real Madrid and Barcelona and Manchester City and Man United, I feel like there's not as many Bayern American fans. So you can...
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll have to dig them up at some point, too.
Yeah, I feel like they don't get the winner picker moniker that some of these other teams do. So if you want to go with a winner and not have that title thrust upon you, then go with Bayern. Mark, we talk a lot about the Premier League, so I don't want to like really dive into all the players. A lot of the players I'm going to just kind of run through here. We've already discussed. We discussed Man City. We discussed Tottenham. We've discussed Liverpool and Chelsea and Arsenal. Like, we've definitely beaten them to death over the past year. So I don't want to retread. But if you like a lot of these players, they are in the Premier League. The top team. Premier League's what? The top league in Europe, right? It's probably the top league in the world.
Yes.
All the best players are there.
Inarguably.
Tons of teams in Europe, European champions, Europa and Europa Conference. It was almost a clean sweep in the Champions League if Arsenal had held on to their 1-0 league. But, I mean, listen to these names. Erling Haaland, everybody knows him. Man City. Christian Romero, Argentina. Christian Romero had a big goal. Tottenham Hotspur. By the way, Tottenham Hotspur, I believe, had 15 players in the World Cup, despite almost getting relegated. 15.
That tells you how big a problem the coaching was.
Yes, and the management. It comes from the top down.
Right, we can't let them off the hook.
You can't let them off the hook.
They should have been so much better than they were this past season. And I said it at the time that they might have been better off being relegated, because then, in a manner of speaking, you blow the whole thing up and you start from scratch.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's better than keeping this collection. And it's like having all of these brilliant artists do masterpieces for you, and then you hang it up in like a dingy garage.
Yep.
Where nobody sees it.
They shouldn't have fired the coach. They should have just kept the coach. Because now, whether...
Which one?
The first one I'm already forgetting is the ex-Brentford coach.
That's what I mean. They went through so many.
So many. And their current coach is locked in for like 4 years. So now they can't do that, or they're going to have to pay tons of money. Eventually money runs out.
Right.
And just running down a few other players, you like Argentina, Enzo Fernandez, Chelsea, Alexis McAllister, Liverpool, William Saliba, from France, plays for the Arsenal boys they're stacked. Got Saliba in France, Bukayo Saka, who's getting healthy. I want to put out there, Saka is a tremendous player who's still coming off an injury, kind of like Lamine Yamal. We're not seeing him or Yamal at their best. I feel like there's something a little still off with him. Declan Rice has been amazing for England. Also on Arsenal, Bruno Fernandes, the assist leader on Portugal, plays for Man United, as does Lisandro Martinez, who's had a great cup for Argentina. You want to do that? Jump in the Man United bandwagon. And we got a couple of the Colombian players, Lerma and Munoz, play for Crystal Palace, just like we talked about earlier. Chris Richards, you want to get on a team that's on the rise, Crystal Palace. Let's hope Woody Johnson doesn't knock that aside. But there's some teams that we haven't really talked about with some players here. Sunderland had several players that went to the World Cup, which kind of shocked me because they just rose up to the Premier League last year. And I believe they may have made one of the top places for at least Europe Conference. That's a huge meteoric rise in 1 year in the Premier League. And they got some Swiss players, Enjoy and Granit Xhaka in the quarters. You like Team Swiss? Enjoy plays for Nottingham Forest. It's Brian Broby. Did you see any of his games? Brian Broby was unreal for Netherlands. he had some tremendous against Sweden, which I was really painful to watch.
Mhm.
Brian Broby just tore us apart.
Mhm.
The Argentine goalie, Aston Villa, Emiliano Martinez, he's at least fun to watch. Like he's either up or down, but he'll always give you a show. My favorite of the tournament from Sweden, Anthony Elanga, Newcastle. I don't know if I'm going to become a Newcastle fan, but I really enjoyed watching Anthony Elanga, and I will probably go out and join the Black Bull and Vanessa and watch a few games to see Elanga play for Newcastle.
Yeah, count me in for that.
You mentioned them earlier. I'm going to kind of skip the MLS. We've talked earlier about Lionel Messi and Rodrigo de Paul in the last episode, and James Rodriguez all playing in the MLS. But I know we need to come to a close here. We need to touch on one really important team.
Yeah, and I mentioned the Arctic Circle.
Yep.
That's where we have to go.
We got to go. I mean, if you like Norway and want to see an iceberg level advantage, you got to check out Bodø Glimt. They were the story of this Champions League.
Yep.
Out of nowhere, teams going up to play in the Arctic Circle, and they had to, like Buffalo, shovel out the stadium. What an advantage. What an advantage. If you like Norway, be a Bodø Glimt fan, because I believe they're going to be back. The league doesn't even play in winter because there's snow because of the weather.
Well, that was the thing. They're going on this run through the Champions League, and they're not playing any league matches while this is all going on. They're done. They're in their off season.
Exactly. And I don't know if that's an advantage or a disadvantage, because you got the rest, but at the same time, you're not having continual games and getting...
Well, that's the question. Rust versus rest.
Exactly.
And they showed that the rest was to their benefit, at least as far as they went in the competition.
And I feel like you and I are both on Team Bodø Glimt. We are excited about this team. We love the story.
I'm only upset that they won't ship me a jersey. I've been trying to get one.
Got to send them this podcast here. Send them this one here. We're spouting out our love for them.
Yes.
And at least a scarf.
Please.
At least a scarf.
No, I want a jersey.
A full jersey. I'll take a scarf.
But I'm willing to pay for it. They just won't send it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
They don't ship. They don't ship to the United States.
That's crazy, because I feel like there's a whole market here that would love Bodø Glimt, especially after this World
Now,
Cup.
there's probably a place to get them, but you can't get them directly through the team.
Yeah.
And I would prefer to do that, quite frankly.
You'll have to pay 100% tariff. We won't go into tariffs. Moving on from Bodø Glimt, there are a few players that people probably liked that haven't got a team yet. This is the time of season, like the off season, where players are moving from team to team. There's a lot of movement, just like there is in the NBA and MLB. Soccer, if you like transactions and not trades, but transfers, there's a lot of action.
Yep.
There's a lot of action. And the top players, I think, coming out of this World Cup to watch and see who they sign with, he was on Atletico Madrid, but Julian Alvarez from Argentina has had a wonderful World Cup. Nyland, the goalkeeper from Norway, formerly on Sevilla, free agent. He's been awesome. He just looked Brazil in the eye and didn't blink. And when Neymar was yelling at him after that weird penalty kick, he just kind of laughed and pushed him away.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know everybody's favorite, Cabo Verde goalie, Vozinha. He's 40.
That's the thing. He's 40.
But how would you not want him? He was so good. He was so good. I mean, against both Spain and Germany, he kept Cabo Verde. I mean, one of the stars of the tournament. He's currently in Chaves, which is in the Portuguese league. But God, I hope someone picks him up. I hope someone grabs and gives the 40-year-old a chance. You know, a little Kurt Warner-esque. You know, maybe there's a little help with HGH or something there.
Bring him over to play in the States.
That's right. Oh,
Red Bull.
I would become a Red Bull.
Red Bull. Or, FC, New York City FC, is going to open their new building in time to start of next season.
That feels like another shot at Matt Freese.
You want to talk about a fan favorite, and you got to get rid of Freese anyway. I didn't want to go there, but we're talking about keepers, and I don't have anything against Matt Freese as a person. He's a wonderful human being, but I've had enough. I'm blaming him for the loss against Belgium. I am. People are blaming the interloper who said he had a conversation with Infantino, and that got the ball rolling on the red card suspension being suspended for Balogun. I'm blaming it more on Freeze than anybody else.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I think a mix of Freeze and unfortunately Pulisic. Pulisic's going to take it just because he's everywhere. He's got every sponsorship. And when you get that kind of money, you got to show up.
Yeah.
At least Giancarlo Stanton of the Yankees may not play the whole season, but when the playoffs come...
Kicks ass in the playoffs.
He kicks ass.
Unlike number 99, who up until last season was basically a no-show in the playoffs.
Yep. And I love Giancarlo Stanton. He's one of my favorite players.
And I love Aaron Judge, but when you're on the biggest stage, and that's what the World Cup is, inarguably...
You got to deliver.
You've got to perform on the largest stage. And... Team USA has too many shrinking violets when push comes to shove. And it's just not good.
If you want that sponsorship money, you got to show. We're going to see Holland everywhere in the U.S. He's already got a bunch of...
I want Team USA in a medal round.
Yeah.
I want semifinals. I want to play for the... I want to see, before I leave this mortal coil, which hopefully doesn't happen for at least another 45 years.
We got time.
I want to see Team USA as World Cup champions. And I'm being honest, I think the Jets have a better chance of winning a Super Bowl.
I kind of like that. I would love the Jets
than the United States winning a World Cup. And they're both out past Pluto in terms of being close to winning championship.
I thought Geno Smith looked like a real winner in this offseason. But you actually came up with the perfect solution. Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I don't think it'll happen in a million years, but if you want to make a splash and you want to give Team USA the credibility that it will need to rebuild after what just went down, that's the way to do it.
If you were a tech giant that all of America hates and you do AI from Sam Altman to Peter Thiel, you want to make America love you? Bring in Pep Guardiola to win the championship. That's the way to get everyone to go, all right, I'll overlook all this AI bullshit.
That's it. I'm telling you, I can see the T-shirts now. Pep's Boys.
Ooh, I love it.
Like where Manny, Mo, and Jack are on the T-shirts.
Yep.
You get your three big stars, and I don't know that we have them on the squad right this very minute.
No, they'll follow Pep. It'll be Holland.
But that's what I mean. It'll be Pep's Boys. And it could be whoever the equivalent of soccer's Manny, Mo, and Jack are. It'll be awesome.
We bring some of those Man City players on over. And that's it. So this is it, Jeff Bezos. You want everyone to stop hating you and stop talking about how garish your wedding was. Bring in Pep Guardiola.
We want Pep.
We want Pep.
Hashtag we want Pep.
We're starting that here. The Ultra World Podcast wants Pep Guardiola for Team USA.
Yeah.
And on that, what a great way to end it. Pep Guardiola, hashtag Pep comes to the States.
We want Pep. Very simple.
Want Pep.
Hashtag we want Pep.
I hope all you guys who are listening, if you're listening before the World Cup final, that you go out there, you have some fun. And on top of that, in this August, take the time to think of who's your football family going to be.
And if you see Pep, put a bug in his ear.
That's right. Team USA. Thanks for joining us, everybody. For Marc and Sean, I'm Sean Castles. Go out there and find your football family, guys.
This has been the Ultra World Podcast, the soccer fan's voice from the stands, with your hosts, Marc and Sean Castles. Our executive producer is Sue Zizza. Marc and Sean Castles are co-producers. David Shin is our master engineer. Assistant producer Avery Gehrig, and I'm Alicia Antwine. To be a guest on the Ultra World Podcast or learn all about sponsorship opportunities, send an email to ultraworldpod@gmail.com. Be sure to follow the show on all the social media platforms at Ultra World Pod. Copyright 2026. All rights reserved, Ultra World Podcast, LLC.